Hey guys, my name is Tal and welcome back to my channel. If you are new, this channel is all about affordable housing and how to apply so that way you can qualify for one of these low-income tax credit affordable housing. So today my video is going to be about how to apply on Housing Connect 2.0. So my first video, I did a how to apply, but that is for the old platform. But now that, I don't know if a lot of you guys know, or if you're new to the channel, you would not know, but Housing Connect changed their platform in July of 2020. So now it's Housing Connect 2.0. So this video is going to be about how to apply in Housing Connect 2.0. So first thing first, you obviously go to the Housing Connect website, and I'll put the link below. Once you are on the website, it's like so easy, guys. And let me backtrack a bit. So I want to just say this, that Housing Connect 2.0, it's a really, really great platform and it's beneficial to you, the applicant. So I don't want anyone to be discouraged about the changes, because this new platform is actually designed to make the process so much easier for you. And you could see so much more information in real time. You could change information in real time. And that's what I love about 2.0 compared to the old Housing Connect. So as I mentioned, go to the website. And the first thing is that you have to register. You have to create an account, because once you create an account, then you have a profile. And as I mentioned, with this new platform, you could see all the information in real time. So get in there, create an account. It's the basic information. So when you're filling out the application, right, or not application, when you're registering and creating an account, be sure that you're listing all the people that will be living in your household. So a lot of times people feel as though they should only put their information, but no, you have to put the entire information for anyone that intends to live in the house with you. So that's what I want you to go through. All those questions is pretty straightforward, basic question. And what I recommend, do this when you have some time. This is not something that you want to just rush through. You want to make sure that you're entering the correct information, because the information that you enter determines if you'll be contacted, right? So go through the basic step, had all your household information. Once you get through the household, you'll see a step for income. Add that information. I recommend that if you're not, because at times a lot of people miscalculate their income, but I recommend going, and I'll drop this link in the description section. If you're not familiar with the calculation process, right? I recommend that you go to the HDC Marketing handbook and just do a general overview on how to calculate your income. That way you could, put, if not accurate, at least close to the accurate amount of what your income is, or what the other household members' income is. So just make sure, just reference the HPD Marketing handbook real quickly, so you could get a general information regarding how your income is calculated. So you put that information in, your asset information, you put that in as well. And when you're putting in your asset and the household income, it applies to all members of your household, not just you. So if you're applying with another adult and they're also working, you need to know what their income is, as you need to put that information in the system as well. If you fail to put any of those information in, it will impact your eligibility. Because, for example, if you're applying for a household of 3 and the minimum income is $40,000, but you earn $20,000, and that's all you entered in the system, but you did not enter the $20,000 your fiance or whoever the other person is earning, if you didn't enter that information, then you would not be selected for that unit, because the system, for that AMI rather, because the system is going to pretty much show that your income does not qualify you for that AMI. So just make sure you gather all the income and asset information for your household and you enter it in the system. As it pertains to asset, any checking account, any savings account, any retirement account, make sure you put it in there. Do not omit that information, because oftentimes a lot of people fail to note their assets, and then when they get to the interview process, they submit only what's there, right? And sometimes it's intentional, sometimes it's not intentional. Sometimes people just don't submit other assets information, and oftentimes what happens is that as you go later in the process and they're reviewing your documents, then they disclose, then they locate other assets. Like they see something on your bank statement shows that you transferred money to an account that you did not list. Like I find these things all the time. So it's imperative that you note all your assets, because the last thing you want it to appear as though you failed to disclose information to the program. So just make sure you put all of that information there. The other thing is, you want to be very attentive when you're completing this information, because even something as simple as your address, right? Make sure you're entering everything correctly, because a lot of the preferences, the information pull, what determines if you're eligible for a preference is based on what you enter in the system. So if you enter your zip code incorrectly, right, you may have been eligible for the community board preference, but because your zip code, you put, for example, a 9 instead of a 2, then they're not going to read that you're a community board member, and you could miss an opportunity to be selected for the preference, right? So just simple things of that nature. They ask questions regarding disability and stuff. Make sure you enter that information so that way it can select you for a preference if you're eligible for one. So once you enter all that information, you review it again, make sure it's accurate. Oh, and one thing I want to say too, so as it pertains to asset, if you have a minor child in the household and they have an asset, sometimes obviously the parent's name is listed, you will still need to add that asset information. So, because oftentimes people say, well, it's not my asset, it's for my child. But as it pertains to asset, regardless of what age a person is, like asset doesn't have an age limitation. So if you have a 1-year-old child and you have an account for them and it's $100,000 in the account, you have to add that there. So there's only exclusion for income for minors, but assets for minors is not excluded. So just make sure you add that information in there. So once you add that, the next thing I want you to look at is there's a lot of helpful videos, and I'm gonna link them below, right? So watch those videos before you dive further, because these videos are really beneficial to helping you through the process. Or you know what, better yet, maybe before you even fully register, go to the section that says learn on the Housing Connect 2.0, and there's a lot of videos. There's a video telling you how to set up the portal, how to set up the household, the personal, the income. Like there's a lot of different information. And yeah, you know what, actually I recommend that you watch these videos before completing the steps, because it's very, very helpful, and it will help you better understand how to enter the information. So once you watch that, then you complete all the relevant information, then you could go on to viewing the available lotteries, right? What I love about the lotteries is that you're now able to filter even more. Like literally you could filter for the area you want to live. You could look at transportation. It's just a lot more information that makes it really, really convenient to maneuver through and decide what you want to apply for. So make sure when you're applying for the lotteries, a lot of people fail to align the income. That's very critical, right? Don't just go on a apply and just applying to everything that you see. Actually take your time to make sure, one, you're applying to a lottery that you actually be eligible for, because a lot of people, they get discouraged that they're not being contacted. However, oftentimes they're not applying for lotteries that they'll be eligible for. So how would you be contacted if you're not actually applying for lotteries that you're eligible for? So don't put yourself in a position to be discouraged. Apply for things that may actually have an opportunity to be contacted for. So one of the critical things, right? Do not, as I said, do this when you actually have time. This is not something that you have 5 minutes, you just want to boom, boom, and be done. No, do it when you have time so you can actually go through the different steps and view the information. So when you're on the lotteries, right, and you get to the chart, each chart, there's different AMIs, and it shows the amount of units that's also available. When you're applying, make sure you align your household size with that income. Like literally everything is aligned. Oftentimes someone see like a bedroom size, and then they look at the maximum income for that, just that bedroom size. But sorry, that's not how it works. You actually have to align your household size with the income for your household size, because there's a minimum and there's a maximum. So make sure you're literally walking your finger through to see what applies to you. And also keep in mind that unborn is considered a household member. So if you're applying with someone that's currently pregnant, say it's just you and your boyfriend, right? So now you're a household of 3. So you should be aligning that for a household of 3. And that's I'm glad I said that actually. So when you're applying, if you're pregnant, you need to put unborn. So if you're pregnant, if it's a one child you're pregnant with, obviously you indicate that you're a household of 3. And as for the section, you just put unborn. But you definitely want to indicate that, so that way that you could be considered for the right size unit. So if you and your boyfriend are applying and you're pregnant, when you're looking at the chart, make sure you look for a household of 3. If you're having twins or triplet, twins obviously will be 4. If you're having if it's you and your boyfriend or your husband and you're having triplets, obviously your household size will be 5. So just make sure you always align that. Right? So once you align, you get to the available unit, you align it, you start applying. Once you apply, you're going to get an application ID for each lottery. And also you're going to be in the pool to get a log number. You're not going to get the log number immediately. So what the agency is saying is that once the lottery is closed, that's when they're going to start issuing log numbers. So close to when it's closed, or when it's closed, then you'll get your log number. So do not panic if you did not immediately get a log number. If you get an application ID, you know for sure that your application was submitted to that developer. So also keep in mind that your application ID is not your log number. A lot of people were confused in that and thought that was your log number. That's not your log number. That's completely different. You will get a log number once the lottery is closed. And you'll have a dashboard, right? So you literally could see all the information on your dashboard, what you applied for, what stage your application is in. So once these lotteries are closed and they send you the log number, the first order of business, I feel like I'm talking so fast. I'm trying to keep the video under 15 minutes. Well, that's not possible now. I'm trying to keep it under 20 minutes. So once the lotteries close, then they're going to start contacting applicant in batches. So the first applicants that's going to be contacted are preferences. So if you fall under any preference, whether it's community board, municipal employee, disability, or if they have a senior preference or what have you, the preferences go first. So that's why it's so imperative that you fill out your application correctly, because if you don't, and you should fall under one of those categories, but you didn't check the box or you didn't put the right zip code, then you're going to miss that opportunity to be considered for the preference. So once they go through that preference list, and there's obviously different allocation for the preferences. So I think the preferences, there's 5%. There's different percentage for each preference. I think community board, if I remember correctly, is like 5%, whatever the breakdown is, right? So they go through that. Then they have GP, that's the general population. So once they finish with the preferences, then they start reaching out to the general population based on the log number, right? So keep in mind, I always say this, and I see this all the time. I've been doing lotteries for many years. If you have a high log number, do not be discouraged, because sometimes there's like not sometimes, all the time, there's always going to be hundreds, or depending how many people apply, thousands of people that's rejected, because you have people just hit apply, but their profile, they haven't updated it for 10 years, so they're applying with old information, or they're just applying for stuff that they're not eligible for. So a lot of times, like hundreds or thousands of people are going to be disqualified because they simply just don't meet the criteria. So don't be discouraged if your log number is 20,000 or 30,000, because you don't know all those applicants before you what their situation is, right? So they start reaching out in order. And then once you, whatever stage you get to in Housing Connect 2.0, you're going to be able to see that. And that's what I love. So if you're contacted, it's going to show, like on your dashboard, you're going to see that status update for that developer, right? So it shows which phase you are and what's the next phase. So I really, really love that feature of Housing Connect. So literally you could somewhat be in the know and not just wonder where your application is in the process, right? So they have to communicate with you on the platform. And then once they initiate that, some developer, it depends on the developer, every developer, they have to make the updates in Housing Connect 2.0. However, they can communicate outside of Housing Connect 2.0, but they just have to make sure they update the system. So just make sure that whatever your communication channel was, whether it's email or however, if you wish to be contacted by mail, just make sure that, you're on top of, your email. Don't use an email that you have a million spam or subscription stuff going to. Use an email that if you're sent an email, you'll be able to see it, because you don't want to miss anything. A lot of people miss out on these opportunities because they use an email that they have 100 different stores sending them, their marketing emails. I have people that this one person, like, I kid you not, it's like 3 years later, they're going to be like, oh, I just saw your email. Is the unit still available? And I'm just like, really? But these things happen. I'm not like bluffing. So use an email that you actually use, and, you won't miss an important email. You should always have an email for marketing emails. And like, I have a junk email, so it's like all those store stuff, and when I'm ready to like buy something, then I go to my junk email. But I have my direct email where it's like important email, so I'm able to clearly see everything that goes there. So just make sure that you send it, you use an email that you'll actually check. If you're doing mail, make sure you're on top of your mail. Make sure you're responsive, because they reduced the correspondent timeline due to COVID. So just make sure, I'm not sure, I think it's like 5 business days now or something along that lines. I'm not exactly sure, don't quote me on it. But just make sure you're responsive. And that's when, they're going to start requesting the documents. You can also like upload them, whatever the process is. Again, it varies based on the developer. The key part is just making sure that you're communicating. And I wrote some notes so I don't miss anything. So once you're in process, as I mentioned, each different stage, you're gonna see the steps on your dashboard, so you can know where you are. So it's kind of like a flow chart, so you could see how everything is progressing. So once you're contacted, like once you apply, you should already start, having your information together so you could easily send it to them. Make sure you are very transparent with everything. Do not withhold any information, because we will find it. We do compliance. That's what we do. People always say, you know more about my life than I do. Like, I find things. It's like people say, oh, I only have one this. I'm like, your bank statement says otherwise, or your tax return says otherwise. So be transparent. Do not give them a reason to reject you for fraud, because that can happen. I've rejected people for fraud. I've rejected people for failing to provide information. So be very transparent. Do not try to be sneaky and think it's not going to, like they're not going to find it. Like, if they don't find it now, which is slim to none, because remember, oftentimes the leasing person is looking at it, then the compliance person is looking at it, and then the agency is looking at it. So there's a very slim chance that it will get through so many people, and we won't find it, right? Very slim. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but here's a caveat to that, right? If you do somehow get through all those 3 people, when it's time for recertification, that's when a lot of people get hit, because whatever wasn't recognized in the initial process, it's found then. And I've seen people, and I said in previous videos, people get evicted for failing to provide information or lying about information on their initial documents. I do not want that to be you. You don't want to finally get in an amazing building, living the life you always dreamt of, only for you, 1 year in, to be evicted. That's not what you want for you or your family. So just be very forthcoming and straightforward with the information that you're providing. So that's really it for Housing Connect as far as the application process. This platform is very user friendly. They're just obviously, just as any new platform, there's going to be hiccups. It's not even 1 year old yet. So they're still going through modifying and making the experience better for the users. But I can tell you this from a developer standpoint, this platform was designed to make the experience easier for the user. It's us, the developer, that have it, like, we have to do so much more on our end. And one of the things I want you guys to feel good about as an applicant is that this platform favors you, right? Because, and it also holds the developer more accountable, because literally they have to report everything in the system. Typically with the lotteries, at the end of the lottery, you submit your log, submit your report, or sometimes you send it in monthly, right? But this is literally in real time. So us, the developer, have to keep feeding the system with information. And because the agency can see things in real time, it's more effort on the developer's end to get it right. And another thing I wanted to say is that one amazing thing about the Housing Connect 2.0 is that you can update your information in real time. On the old Housing Connect, once you submit your application, that's it, right? But on the Housing Connect 2.0, if your income changed, you can log in the system and update your income or whatever information changed. If someone is no longer a part of the household, you could log into the system and remove them from the household. However, and I want you to listen to this part keenly, if you already applied, like, that information will update in real time, with the exception of if you already applied to a lottery and that lottery closed. If the lottery applied to close, that means they already took your information. So what you will need to do if you're contacted is that during that initial contact, that initial interview, that's when you immediately advise them of your change, of the changes that took place in your household. So don't wait, or don't think that because you updated it in the system that they should know. So for you to be on the safe side, just initially let them know, I just want to confirm that you have my updated information, because I'm now a household of 1 as opposed to a household of 2 that was entered on my application. So you want to make sure that you advise them of that in the initial stage, so it doesn't look like your intention was to go through the process and not disclose that information until it was asked of you. But this is the amazing benefit, because a lot of people, previously, if depending what changed previously, your application could potentially become low priority, which it still can if you don't disclose changes in the initial interview. That landlord can change your application to low priority. Low priority mean that you'll be put to the bottom of the list until they go through all the lottery. That's when they go to the low priority applicant. So that's why I keep stressing the initial interview. If anything changes, let that be known at the initial interview, so that way there's no reason that your application will get bumped to the low priority list, because that's the last thing you want after being contacted, right? So I think that pretty much sums up Housing Connect 2.0. Again, I really love this platform, and I think you will too. Just give it a chance. Don't panic about the whole log number thing. Once you have an application ID, you applied, and you will get that log number eventually. As always, guys, just be encouraged. Keep doing what you have to do. This can happen for you. It's been happening for so many people. Just take a look at these comments. If you don't believe me, believe the other people that leave comments, talking about how this opportunity was possible for them. Watch the video that I did I think it's 2 videos ago, just to empower you and let you know that this is real. This can happen for you. I've seen it over and over, and this is the reason why I do these videos, to assure you that it's possible. It's not something that's far removed from your reality. You just have to follow the steps and do your part, so that way it can happen for you. So that's it for today's video. If you are new to my channel, please subscribe. Please share this video with a friend, with a family member. Subscribe to the channel. If you found this information helpful, like the video, and just give me your feedback. I try my best to get through the comments and the emails. Right now I'm flooded with emails, so I'm not up to date, but I will continue making my way through. This is a one-woman show, so just bear with me. And in the interim, if you haven't gotten a response as yet, I'm almost positive that your question was answered in one of the videos that I made. So just go through the videos. Get the information in the interim. Don't just wait for a reply. I will, make my best effort to respond, however. As always, if you have any questions, comment them below. I'm more than happy to assist you in any way that I can. I try my very best to respond to all comments. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I owe you another video before the end of March, because I did promise I did commit to 2 videos. So I have to make this real quick. So I'm going to post another video before the end of the month. That video it was actually a request. I'm just going to talk about life once you're in affordable housing. So that's what my next video will be. So thank you for watching. I'm so late. It's almost the end of the month, but happy Women History Month. See, I'm wearing my t-shirt. I'm more than enough. Signed Black Woman. I love this t-shirt. It's really empowering. So I'm gonna actually leave the link for this t-shirt below too. Thank you for all you guys are doing. Thank you for your ongoing support. Thank you for your positive messages, your positive comments, all the testimonials. Continue leaving them below so other people could be encouraged, because once they see that it happened for you, it's more reason for them to believe that it can happen for them as well. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Have an amazing day.